welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new episode of Africa Today, where we get you the latest news and events taking place on the African scene. And we will start off with our major top stories and reports. The International Exhibition of Industry opened in Cairo on Sunday in its second session. The event focuses on supporting industry development to meet market needs. More in the following report.
Cairo affirmed its keenness to support investors and facilitate their projects. At the opening of the annual International Exhibition of Industry in its second session, El-Sisi said the state is ready to help investors by reducing the financial costs of projects, providing all facilities and creating what is necessary for them so that the investor can focus his efforts on starting his project faster without any obstacles that may delay the construction period before the project enters the operational phase. He said, quote, "We are keen to meet the needs of the Egyptian market for everything and all products, not only in the industry, so the local component must be constantly increased in products." End quote. He also announced that the state will establish industrial facilities to support the industry on condition that the factory bears the cost of machinery. He added that the state has established 15 industrial clusters at the request of the Ministry of Trade and Industry to save the investors' effort and time, as the state has carried out infrastructure works and delivered facilities, including all the necessary approvals for the investor to bring the machines and start working directly on his project. He clarified that the goal of establishing these industrial clusters is not to share the investor's profit, but to provide all the requirements for him to start his project immediately and create new job opportunities. He gave a hypothetical example saying, quote, "If an investor spends 200 million Egyptian pounds on the construction part, which takes 5 years, for example, to implement, the state saves him this period and funds and asks him to immediately start implementing the project and not to waste time in administrative or construction matters." End quote. He also called on the Federation of Egyptian Industries to be a bridge between companies, investors, and those who wish to enter into that system, so that time and effort are saved for the investor. He stressed that what the state will do in this framework will be different.
Welcome back, and to shed more light on the international exhibition, we're delighted to be joined over the phone by Dr. Mostafa Waly, economic expert and former member of the Industries Union. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, how do you see the importance of the annual International Exhibition of Industry?
This convention actually is very important, and this is the second edition, which is proving the real success in this very important sector of our economy, the industry, and the development of it. So actually, I have followed it yesterday, and it was very, very important, yes. And the communication was very good between the president and those who have been attending, even over the lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes, the importance, it was a real success yesterday, because the event and the subject discussed there, it was something which anyone should be proud of it, because it was real success stories of industries in many sectors, and of course in the cooperation with the Federation of Egyptian Industries, which is the institution taking care of the industry at large, especially in the development of industry and keeping it in a good pace.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, sir, how would you comment on the importance of developing Egyptian industries and relying more on local production?
Well, by the way, industry, it proved to be the most important locomotive and the most powerful locomotive for the economy at large, especially yes, of developed and even developing countries. And sure, we are taking care of this, on the level of the leadership of the country and the industrialists, where we have a very big history, very promising history and reliable history for our modern achievement and or a modern aspiration for more developing in industry.
Yeah.
And by the way, you remember, I hope you remember that the first edition, which was last year, it was in the occasion of the centennial of the Federation of Egyptian Industries, which
Yes.
means that Egypt was for 100 years before leader in the area and maybe in the whole African country, in the whole Africa, leader in industry. So this is something to be proud of.
Sir, what fields of industry is most attractive to investors in the current time, and why, do you think?
Could you raise your voice, please?
What fields of industry is most attractive to investors in the current time, and why?
You mean a specific industry?
What are the most attractive industries for investors to come and start injecting money in and invest here in Egypt?
You can't specify exactly what is what, because all industries at large, in the industry in general, is widespread and a lot of activities covering all the demands and needs of the Egyptian, of the people at large. So you can't differentiate the importance of chemical industries or oil industries or spinning and weaving. It's all are important. The most
Yes.
important thing is that how much you can have localization, and this will contribute to your national income. That's very important. Here is the difference, and this is subject to the availability of a lot of things and the studies, which will prove for us where is the most important for us to start with or to develop to increase our investment and even call for foreign direct investment.
Yeah.
And we are luckily, we have a lot of sectors, by the way.
Yeah.
All sectors, maybe.
Right. Dr. Waly, what are the most important factors, in your opinion, that affect the investors' decision to open new projects here in Egypt?
The most important is what is done now, what is really felt now by everybody in the sector, that the government and the leadership of this country is giving the priority for industry and facilitating everything to have a success story for each investor who would like to come and facilitate and give him all the support needed. And this was evident now, I think.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, President Abdel Fattah
el-Sisi.
Right, sir. Go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi said the state is ready to help investors by reducing financial cost of projects and providing all facilities and creating what is necessary for them so that the investors can focus efforts on starting projects faster. How
Yes.
do you read this statement?
This was very, very good contribution and very important gest and important element in the facilities to be given to the investment. Yesterday, His Excellency President Sisi was talking about, all right, he's getting so deep in the subject. That's honestly, because he mentioned that we are ready, I mean, as a government, we are ready to reduce the burden. Of course, having a project, initiating a project, this is a really big business, and you see the cost. So he showed even in order to help and increase the speed and the pace of establishing new industries and new investment, that the government is ready to take the burden of facilitating the building of the project, because as you know, the project needs a building and needs a lot of things, but the most important is the building. And sometimes it's a big cost, by the way, it's not that small. So that was very, very great. That was great. I was really very, very impressed with this suggestion of the president, or this offer from the president.
Right. Sir, how are the current events taking place in Gaza affecting the local consumers' appetite for local goods and products, and how do you expect this to impact the industry field here in Egypt?
Well, You know, in itself, what's going on is not in favor for us and for our brothers and for the whole area. And the president was in his second section of his speech yesterday during the conference. He addressed this issue, and he was very, very clear that Egypt is keen about peace, is keen for having peace. And when talking about Egypt and being with our brothers in Gaza, that of course this is coming from pure humanitarian and plus the historic relations and the importance of having peace in this area. And we know exactly what does it mean, the war, what does it mean, the effect, the negative effect on development and the aspirations of people and their daily life. So in this case, anything which will hinder the situation of peace will affect us directly. But let's hope that this will be temporary, because I think things should be enough.
Mm-hmm. Sir, how can the current switch to buy Egyptian products and boycott foreign products be used as a driving force for investors to inject money in new projects?
The fields are open, actually, and the demand is there. The only thing is how keen is the investor and how friendly is the environment for investing. I mean, for local investor or even for foreign investor. And the data is available. The only thing is that you have the will to get into business and to find who will encourage you for this.
Sir, how can this drive be sustainable, and how can it help boost quality of local products?
Well, which exactly will boost what?
The drive to inject money and to invest in Egypt, how can it be sustainable, and how can it help in boosting the quality of the local products?
Yeah, sure. The more you have qualified products, I mean, based on the standard specifications of the national, the world standards, then you will have a place to compete locally and outside. And in this case, if you can maintain a developing process when it comes to improving the quality of the production, the material, the cost effectiveness to compete in the international and local market, this is an integral and important part of the business.
Mm-hmm. Right. Sir, how do you see the impact of the initiative that was launched during the event dubbed Ibda or Start, aimed at attracting new investors to the Egyptian market?
Actually, the initiative itself, Start or Ibda, this is behind the success which we are witnessing now, especially over these last years, because we have witnessed yesterday online that the inauguration of new projects, and most of them are advanced when it comes to technology and the knowledge, and also the quality. That's something was of course it must be there. We have seen it, but also there is another thing that we are witnessed and we have seen yesterday. This is very important. When we call this the soft power of industry, that you have qualified personnel, labor, qualified technician, and this is through the technical and vocational training schools, which will be very advanced, and we have seen even the level of the youth who is joining it.
Yes. Well, I would like to thank you very much, Dr. Mostafa Waly, economic expert. Many thanks for your insights, sir. And dear viewers, we now move back to our special report. The 6th edition of Cairo Water Week started on Sunday under the title, Working to Adapt to Life for Sustainability. More in the following report.
The 6th edition of Cairo Water Week is held this year under the title, Working to Adapt to Life for Sustainability, where the main issues, policies, strategies, plans, and measures related to climate and water challenges are being discussed. Efforts to raise the status of water are also atop the agenda. Addressing the event, Sameh Shukri said cementing effective water cooperation across borders is inevitable for Egypt. He was speaking at the inauguration of the 6th round of the Cairo Water Week. He said Egypt, as the last downstream Nile country, is the most affected by the repercussions of uncooperative measures at the basin. At the event, the Water Resources Ministry warned about the effects of war on the basic needs of citizens, namely water, electricity, and food. It said negotiations over the GERD, the Grand Renaissance Dam in Ethiopia, are still underway.
Welcome back, and moving on to our special report on Rafah. Egypt resumes receiving more humanitarian aid from various countries worldwide in order to transfer it through the Rafah border crossing to Gaza Strip. The latest convoy of 10 trucks passed through the crossing on Friday, as well as 10 foreign doctors, bringing the total number of trucks to enter since the beginning of the war to only 84. More in this report.
A medical team and 10 aid trucks entered the Gaza Strip on Friday via the Rafah crossing with Egypt, carrying water, food, and medicine. The statement was made by Palestinian border officials. Officials said a medical delegation consisting of 10 foreign doctors entered in addition to 10 trucks entering the Gaza Strip through the Rafah crossing. They carried water, food, and medicine, bringing the total number of trucks since the beginning of the war to only 84 trucks. Detailed negotiations were taking place with the Israelis in a bid to secure more humanitarian crossings into the Israeli-besieged enclave. UN humanitarian coordinator for the occupied Palestinian territory told a press briefing in Geneva that, quote, in addition to the technical issues and the security issues, there are political issues as well, end quote. He said there is a certain amount of pressure on the government of the Israelis in terms of its domestic politics. Gaza has been hit by unrelenting Israeli airstrikes, killing thousands of civilians. There is still no agreement to get fuel into Gaza, and the UN Palestinian Refugee Agency has said the absence of fuel was jeopardizing life-saving humanitarian operations there.
And dear viewers, that wraps up this edition of Africa Today. Many thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more coming up here on Nile TV International.